More FPL. With the Gameweek 8 fixtures now confirmed, it's time to go over my transfer tips for this week. I'll give my thoughts on some of the most popular transfers in so far this week. Along the way, I'll discuss which players I'll be looking at if I play my wildcard this week. I'll ignore some popular transfers this week for players that don't have a fixture, like Rashford. I'll also briefly discuss a few of the big transfers out so far this week. For a discussion of the main captaincy options for Gameweek 8, see my video, linked here. First, let's look at forwards, starting with Mitrovic, by far the most popular transfer this week. He now has 6 goals in 6 matches, only blanking once, and even missing a penalty in that one. He's 4th top point scoring forward, and Fulham have good fixtures until Gameweek 15 against Man City. He'd definitely be in my squad if I was wildcarding now, especially at just 6.9 million. Next is Isaac, who has 1 goal in 2 games so far after joining near the end of the transfer window. He should start ahead of Wood, but the concern is what happens when Wilson returns from injury. Newcastle have good fixtures up until Gameweek 16 against Chelsea, apart from Man United and Spurs away. He was in my transfer plans this week, but now I think I may go with Mitrovic instead. Last is Kane, who's been Spurs' best player as they've averaged 2 goals a game. He's got 5 goals and 1 assist, and only blanked somewhat surprisingly on the opening day. A home fixture against bottom-of-the-table Leicester this week even makes him a captain option. I don't think I'd go for him on the wildcard, as there's too many good budget forwards compared to midfielders. Now let's look at midfielders, starting with De Bruyne, by far the most popular transfer this week. He leads the league in assists, but is only 7th top point scoring midfielder, surprisingly. City have a few decent fixtures before Liverpool in Gameweek 11 and a blank, so not a long-term option. I don't think I'd go for him on the wildcard, as he's too expensive for someone I'd never captain. Next, after Rashford is Bowen, who despite last year's heroics, has yet to return this season. On the plus side, there's talk of him being on penalties after taking one in the Europa League. After a difficult start, the next 4 fixtures for Liverpool in Gameweek 12 look good. I'd maybe still have him on the wildcard, but more through lack of other options. Last is Maddison, who's done okay overall with 2 goals and 1 assist, despite Leicester's struggles. He's had 2 blanks in a row after missing Chelsea, but many better options don't have a fixture this week. Leicester has Spurs this week and Man City in Gameweek 14, but no fixtures in between. As with Bowen, I still consider him on the wildcard, but maybe wait until next week. More FPL. Now let's look at defenders, starting with Trippier, by far the most popular transfer this week. He's 2nd top point scoring defender with 1 goal and 3 clean sheets and has some set pieces. Upcoming fixtures look decent and they've also done well in what's been a tough start to the season. He's someone I bought in Gameweek 6 and he'd be the first defender in my wildcard squad. Next is Perisic, who's got 2 assists and 2 clean sheets in 3 starts and 3 sub-appearances. He seems established as first choice left wing-back, but still a rotation risk in the packed schedule. With the Gameweek 7 blank, he should at least start Gameweek 8, despite playing the Champions League. Upcoming fixtures are mixed, and I think there's more nailed options with better fixtures longer term. Last is Cancelo, who's top point scoring defender with 1 goal and assist, despite not looking as attacking. City only have 1 clean sheet in their last 4 games after getting 2 from 2 at the start of the season. The upcoming fixtures are on the tougher side, so it's hard to say how many clean sheets they'll get. But with other premium defences like Liverpool and Chelsea misfiring, City still look like the best bet. Finally, let's look at goalkeepers, starting with Pope, by far the most popular transfer this week. He's a top point scoring goalkeeper, just ahead of Sarr, with 3 clean sheets. He seems to have a good combination of clean sheet potential as well as saves and bonus points. For me, he's looking like the standout pick and would definitely be in my wildcard draft. Next is Henderson, who's 3rd top point scoring keeper, but only has 1 clean sheet so far. His points have largely come from 2 penalty saves, as well as a decent amount of saves in open play. The fixtures are much better than the likes of Sanchez, but I wouldn't expect too much in terms of clean sheets. I wouldn't have him on my wildcard, preferring to spend just 0.4 million more on Pope. Last is Ward, who's still the best bench option, a starting keeper for just 4 million. Leicester have the second worst defence in the league, only ahead of Bournemouth because of the Liverpool game. The upcoming fixtures are okay, but you wouldn't back them to keep any clean sheets on current form. That being said, I probably still have him on my wildcard as my bench option. More FPL. Finally, I just wanted to touch on a few of the big transfers out this week, like Salah. Even for those considering benching him for just this week, the 3 fixtures after that are tough. His actual points total is still okay, but he's been quite fortunate and isn't justifying his price tag. I'm personally selling this week, probably for De Bruyne, as a short-term option. Next is Trent, who struggled so far along with the rest of the Liverpool defence. His only attacking returns came against Bournemouth, where he got a goal and an assist. He was even subbed off early against Everton, so not as nailed on to play as previous seasons. I'm probably holding him on my bench this week, but only because I have other higher priority transfers. Last is Diaz, who like other Liverpool attackers has been pretty poor outside of the Bournemouth game. He has just one other goal, and that was back in Gameweek 2 against Palace. With midfielders, the main issue for me is not being that enamoured with potential replacements. I may transfer out Gross for a hit, but not sure any players with the game this week are worth it. With many players thinking about activating their wildcard this week, what are my thoughts? I think if you're considering more than a -4 to get a full 11 out, a wildcard is probably worth it. If it's a -4, it depends on how happy you'll be with your team next week and your wildcard plans. For me, 2 free transfers gets me to 10 players, and I'm debating a hit, but not sure for who. Depending on what happens over the break, I'll either wildcard in Gameweek 9 or hold till 12 or 13. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. What are your transfer plans for this game week, and has this video helped your decision making? Add your own thoughts and questions in the comments, and I'll try to get through as many as I can. Never miss a pre-season video or game week preview by subscribing and turning on notifications. More FPL.